Hello and welcome back to another episode from the Studio Block server. My name is Weird and Bearded, and of course we are still in the buried chest because I've got to get to work on this. We still got a lot to do. Uh we've got about a month left. Got about a month left to build this thing. So today we're going to start work on that big area over there. Specifically, we're going to start at the back. So this is going to be a little kind of mix and match town thing. And I've been working on a big project to make this work. We're not actually going to be doing any of that today, though we will talk about it later, because I think it gets quite interesting to talk about. But we're actually going to be starting off right back here, because when I was starting to put my ideas together, I thought, when you see these sets, there's normally one big bell tower in either in the middle of the town or towards the back of the town. We're having it towards the back. So we're going to be building a big old church here. So some of this is actually going to be dug out. This is going to be into the ground a bit because this is big. So the chest is big. This is actually, it can't be any bigger or it's not really going to fit in. So I have already collected everything that I need. It's only 8 shulker boxes of stuff, which makes things nice and convenient. Oh, that's going down in a weird order. But may as well show what we've got. So we collected all of this in a live stream. So we've got a variety of trapdoors, lots of birch planks, some small stair bits and other type stuff, buttons because we need to have some not despawning, some spawn proofing on the roof, which is going to be mostly mangrove. Some logs for support, some other small bits for other stuff, and then we're going to be building the walls out of vertical slabs. So this should be a pretty nice looking build. Inside it gets a bit weird and ethereal because I made a choice, but I kind of like the choice, so I'll have a look at that in a bit. But I think for now we may as well get on with it. So I've got some building to do. The town has begun. Now it's going to look a little weird right now because obviously it's not flat on the ground, but you've got to remember we are working with a hill here. So we're going to deal with that in the future. I have an idea. I was originally going to just do a load of terraforming, but I've had an idea that I think is going to look better. But for now, let's look at the church. Well, I'm going to go with church. So we've got the bell tower. There's no bell in there, but I don't really need one right now. We might add one later. And then, as I said, I've gone for the weirdly tall pillars and weirdly regular pillars. But I kind of like the effect of it. So it'd almost be tempting to put up small walls. I mean, I suppose if we do put some views in, and this could be good. I mean, it's already good. It's great with the shaders. Shall we have a look at it with the shaders? Let's have a look at it with the shaders. Give it a moment. Give it a moment. There we go. It's weird 'cause as solid as they are, there's just something ethereal about them. So we're not going with the interior decoration right now. If I've got time later on, we'll come back and do some decoration. We definitely have to do something, because obviously this build is about buried treasure, and we do have buried treasure out. Well, we're inside buried treasure. But also I'm thinking having the floor around here broken up with treasure buried underneath could be good fun. So now let's talk about the rest of the town, because this is where things get fun. As I said, I was originally thinking of doing some terraforming, but just earlier today, I had an idea that maybe we could do it as a more leveled thing. So build up walls of probably sandstone to sort of hold up areas and put houses on there. And we're going to be building quite a few houses because we've got a large area to cover. I mean, look at all that ground we have to cover. And I want houses going all the way down. But the problem is, well, one, I don't want to have to design all of this. It's going to take a while. But also, I don't just want to do one house shape and plop it down everywhere. I want a good variety of stuff. So, I decided to set about building a house generator. Before we go into how we're going to generate the houses, let's have a quick look at what I want to achieve. So this is one example of a house. So you can see it's the sort of style I like going for. We've got that wooden beam frame, then we've got walls with some windows in, and you may notice there's a lot of differences here. So we've got a wall that's 5 long, one that's 6 long, one that's 7 long. The heights of the 2 floors are different. Inside we've got some birch flooring, and then we also have some upside down stairs, and we've got plenty of lanterns lighting everything up, and then we've got a nice roof. But this is just a house. We want several more like it, but with a lot more similar, so a lot more differences as well. So we've got those differences of dimensions, but also there's different configurations I want. So I have wool for demonstration purposes. So they're all going to start with a central room. 1 block of wool represents 1 room. So that is 1 configuration. 1 central room, 1 story tall. We could also have 1 room with a bit off the side. It could go in any direction. That is the 2nd configuration. We could have 2 bits off the side. Now, I want to be clear here, only in an L shape. I don't want it to go that way. I feel that would be too big. So only in an L shape. So then we could have 1 room, but 2 stories tall. We could have 1 room, 2 stories tall, with 1 bit off the side. 1 room, 2 stories tall, with 2 bits off the side. Then 2 rooms, both 2 stories tall. 2 rooms, both 2 stories tall, with 1 bit off the side. And then finally, all 3 rooms, 2 stories tall. So there's 9 different configurations, but with that style. There's a lot to be done here, and I've had a lot of fun putting this together. This has been a couple of weeks, and bearing in mind, well, you'll see when we get into this, but beforehand, I had never done anything like this before. So this was a brand new project. I've had to learn these skills from scratch. Let's see how I did. So I went over to Blender to make use of the geometry nodes in Blender. So If you don't know what geometry nodes are, a simple way to think about them is it's a way to program a model. So this can either be an adaptation of a model, so you create a shape and it might add an outline to it or something else like that. Or in my case, I'm just going to use a random number generator to build a random house from the bottom up. This was a big project, and we started off with those wooden pillars that I have around the outside to define the shape. So again, these can be different heights, they can have different dimensions between them. Once I had those in place, I could then get a floor down, which really helps to visualize everything. Then we can get more logs going across the top. And I actually had to use different materials for these, because while I have Block Blender, which allows you to take a object in Blender and turn it into a Minecraft build, I know that it has limitations. It does full blocks, it doesn't do sort of lanterns, and the logs, it doesn't do them sideways. So I need to have a different material for each thing. That way, when I put it all into Minecraft, I can just have them be very different blocks and then use commands to change everything into the blocks I want. So we have our basic framework. Next thing I did was put in all the walls and the windows. So now we have most of the bottom floor in, but of course we've got the little bits around the side. So the next thing I did was put in where the lanterns were going to be going. And after the lanterns were in place, put in the upside down dark oak stairs. So that is the bottom floor fully complete. Now after this I had a choice. I could start working on the second floor or I could start working on the roofs. I chose to start working on the roof. So it took quite a bit of work. We started on the roofs for end pieces because they're always going to be the same. So we got all of those into place, including the walls at the end. There's also an extra added bit because the central bit only exists if it's an odd number of blocks long. So lots of difficulties there. Then we added in the roof for the central section. So now any single story building is going to be complete. We've just got to move up a floor. So at this point I was a bit more confident in what I was doing. I didn't have to do it in such small steps. I could do it in bigger steps. So the first thing we did, the second floor and roof for edge pieces, all done. That was all done in one go. After that, it was the central section and roof for either a one-room building or where the side pieces were only one story tall. Then after that, I could do it to where there was one side piece that was 2 stories tall and the other side piece either wasn't there or was only 1 story. And then finally having a roof that connected everything. So at this point, I have a full house generator built in Blender that took me 2 weeks. And that's where things went wrong. With the house generator complete, of course, the next step is to turn it into blocks, into Minecraft blocks, which is nice and easy. All we need to do is select it, bring up Block Blender over here, and click Turn Selected into Blocks. And then it all goes horribly wrong. I messed up. Well, let's see. Maybe I need to convert it into a mesh first. So let's hide the blocks. There we go. And then we'll convert it into a mesh. And then we'll try it from there. Oh, and then I lose the roof. As I said, this was my first attempt at doing something like this. I've clearly messed up in a few ways. On watching this just now, I've realised one of the ways I've messed up. So when I convert to mesh, all the stuff that's missing is stuff that I did as what's known as an instance on points. So there's going to be a way to make those instances real. I think I know that way already, so that's something I can fix. Unfortunately, it still doesn't help because turn selected into blocks. So those shouldn't be too wide. There's weird podgy bits. Something's still going wrong. What I should have done. I should say, This is nothing to do with the tools. This is not a problem with the tools. This is entirely on me. What I should have done was tested this as I was going. Every step of the way, I should have gone, right, I've got the pillars in place. Let's turn those into blocks and make sure that's looking good. And if it's not looking good, let's fix it so it looks good. This was my fault the entire way. But it does mean we don't have something that works right now. Now, I am going to figure out these mistakes. I'm going to fix them for the future, but I don't have time to fix them for now. But what do we do when we fail? We find another solution. We've got a working house generator, and the house generator works well. It's just converting it into the blocks, so let's skip that step. We're going to build a little toolbox back in Minecraft, so let's go back into Minecraft. And here's the toolbox, hopefully. This should be everything I need. So we've got walls of every height and width necessary. So at the back, we've got ones without windows, because when we have a bit like this with the roof coming off the side, we don't want to have windows in that wall. We also have variations on where the dark oak stairs are, so they can be either on the right at both points or just on the left, because again with corners that gets different. Then we have the end bits of roof, straight bits of roof, which obviously we're going to need these at different lengths, but if I do them all at the smallest length they'll need to be, then I can just move them along, so that's going to be fine. And then all of the different variations of the junctions. So in theory, from this I should be able to make any of the houses. Now we are missing some stuff. The lanterns is just going to be easier to place those in manually. There's very few of them, and also there's no flooring here, because at most the flooring is going to take 2 commands. So we can just do that with commands. That's going to be the easiest. I haven't tested this yet, so I think we should generate a random house and build it. I think I'm ready to go. I've got all the schematics sorted and organised. We've got an image of the house in the top corner, so you can see what I'm saying, but it's not just an image. That is live from Blender, so we can rotate the house if we need to. I doubt we'll need to, but just in case. But of course, we've been looking at this house a lot, or at least I've been looking at this house a lot. I know it well now, so for a proper test, let's do a different house. I've got some percentile dice. They're going to give me a random number between 1 and 100. And we have number 64. So let's look at house number 64 and get that built up. Okay, so this is just 2 segments, so that's going to be nice and easy. Let's start with the lower walls. So I want both sections, and that looks like it's the bigger site. So that's a 7x6 wall. So let's load that in. That's not what I want. That's what I want. I'm going to rotate that once, I think. And, okay. You are now in position. We then also have... Well, let's see if we can get, without messing it up, the back wall into position. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Then another one for the log, then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be correct. So you go in there. Then we can get rid of that wall, and then we have a 5x6. We'll load that in. And that is one side of the house done. Let's rotate you a couple of times. And that is the back of the house done. So let's quickly get the floor into position. So we're just, as I said, going to do a simple fill command, because that's going to be a nice quick way of doing this. And that is birch planks. So then I think I want to get the logs for the top floor in place. Yeah, we'll do that next. So unload that. We're going to get these lower logs into position, for which that looks good to me. Oh. Then same over there, and then we want to rotate these. And we'll have them there. Oh, I messed it up. Okay. We want it to go back here, don't we? Everything goes out a little bit. So, there we go. Then we can rotate it. Calm down, Wab. Stop panicking. Okay. That's much better. So, then I'm actually going to do this section last just because I know there's a slight oddity when we've got a 7 wide wall here and then the top floor is the smallest top floor. So let's do the top floor first. So we are going to need a windowless 9x4 wall. I believe. Excellent. We'll want a regular 9x4 wall. So we can... I swear I picked 9x4. I don't know what's going on there. It might just be that the names have gone a bit off. I definitely picked a 9x4. I want to go upper section, both bits, 9x4, load schematic. Yeah, that had to have been a 9x4, otherwise these wouldn't match. So then on the sides, we're going to have two 7x4s. So unload, get in the 7x4s. Keep pressing the wrong minus. And this actually is going to make things nice for the endpoints because we're going to have two end roofs which are the same. So we want to unload that, then load in. If we go up to my roof folder, it's a 7 wide end. Seeing as we've got it facing that way, let's do the top one first. That goes there. Then we can rotate it and get the bottom one in place. That goes there. Rotate it again. And then we have all our roofs in, but the starts of our roofs in position. And then we just need this straight roof. That was completely the wrong button. So straight 7. Rotate it. And we can put this down there. Oh, I thought I had it set up to not copy. Well, we'll pretend that that didn't happen. So then all we need to do is get the lanterns in place and we'll have our finished building. Now, of course, we don't have doors. That is by design because I don't know where the paths are going to be relative to the houses, so I can add the doors manually later. But that is a finished house. That wasn't too bad. Obviously, the more I do, the faster I'll get. But let's try and position ourselves so they look about the same. There we go. Perspective. Well, that means that at this point, I've just got to do that many times to fill up that. So that's going to be my next few days. But in the meantime, if you liked the episode, please leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Learn from your mistakes. My name is Weird and Bearded, and I will see you all next time.